Angry and outraged. That's what NASCAR said in a statement after a noose was found in driver Bubba Wallace's garage yesterday at Talladega. The shocking discovery comes after the racing circuit banned the Confederate flag from events.
Nearly 5 years after one of NASCAR's most controversial moments, Bubba Wallace has finally spoken out in detail about the infamous noose incident. During a recent appearance on the Breakfast Club radio show on Power 105.1 in New York, Wallace made statements that have sent shockwaves through the racing community. What makes this moment significant? For the first time, Wallace directly characterized the 2020 incident as a coincidence. A statement many fans have been waiting to hear since the FBI concluded its investigation years ago. 1 in a million, katrillion coincidences that I had that garage stall. Wallace told this to the radio hosts in what might be his most direct acknowledgment of the situation to date. Let's examine what happened back in 2020 and why Wallace's new comments are causing such a stir among NASCAR followers. In June 2020, at the height of racial tensions across America, NASCAR reported finding a rope tied like a noose in Bubba Wallace's garage at Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. The timing couldn't have been more charged. Just 2 weeks after NASCAR had officially banned Confederate flags from all races, a move Wallace had championed.
This act of racism and trying to find out who is responsible for doing that. While they're doing that, Bubba Wallace is already speaking out, saying that this will not break him. This all took place yesterday. A noose was found in the garage of the stall of Bubba Wallace. This comes after the driver led the charge that resulted in the stock car racing series to ban Confederate flags at its tracks and facilities. The move to ban Confederate flags has not been embraced by all race fans. Earlier in the day, a plane flying over the track dragged a Confederate flag with the message, "Defund NASCAR." Now, yesterday, Wallace took to Twitter saying, in part, "Today's despicable act of racism and hatred leaves me incredibly saddened and serves as a painful reminder of how much further we have to go as a society." He continued with, "This will not break me." NASCAR also speaking out with a statement saying there is no place for racism in NASCAR, and this act only strengthens our resolve to make the sport open and welcoming to all. So both NASCAR and Bubba Wallace speaking out about this. Now, Talladega race that was scheduled for yesterday.
The initial reaction was immediate and dramatic. NASCAR issued strong statements condemning what appeared to be a hate crime targeted at their only black full-time Cup Series driver. The following day, in a powerful display of solidarity, fellow drivers and crew members walked alongside Wallace's car before the race, showing unity during a period of national racial tension and Black Lives Matter protests. But the story took an unexpected turn. After an investigation involving 15 FBI agents, officials determined the rope wasn't placed there as a threat. The FBI report concluded it was a garage door pull rope fashioned like a noose that had been present in that garage stall since at least October 2019, long before Wallace was assigned to it. As NASCAR stated at the time, the FBI report concludes, and photographic evidence confirms, that the garage door pull rope fashioned like a noose had been positioned there since as early as last fall. This was obviously well before the 43rd team's arrival and garage assignment. The finding diffused accusations of a hate crime, but left lingering questions about how the incident was handled by all parties involved. Speaking on the Breakfast Club this week, Wallace addressed what happened with surprising candor. "It was there before we got there. Years before we got there. It was just a coincidence that I had that garage. It's wild. It's still a topic of discussion."
And it's just a coincidence that I had that garage.
Damn.
So, like, it's
They knew
wild.
you was coming.
It's wild.
Wow.
So, it is still a topic of discussion to this day. It's wild.
When asked if authorities ever discovered who placed the rope there, Wallace emphasized the coincidental nature of the situation.
But no, it was there before we even got there, and just the 1 in a million katrillion coincidences that I had that garage stall. And in fact, it was tied in a fashion like that. It could have been this small. It doesn't matter. And so it is what it is, and we've moved on from it. And
during the interview, co-host Charlemagne the God joked, "They knew you was coming," prompting laughter between them. A far more relaxed approach to discussing the incident than we've seen from Wallace previously. Yet Wallace expressed regret about how the situation impacted NASCAR.
Was put in that situation, that I was put in that situation, our team was put in that situation, but we've learned a lot about who we are as a sport and who we are as competitors, and that's all you can ask for.
Did it take a toll on you emotionally?
Perhaps the most revealing part of Wallace's interview was his description of the personal toll the controversy took on him. The negative reaction from some NASCAR fans clearly affected him deeply.
Oh, those year or two after that was rough, because I went from being one of the most, I wouldn't say the most liked drivers, but favorable drivers, but now it's just been the boos and stuff. And
Wallace described the dramatic shift in how fans responded to him.
But it was, the next week after Talladega, it was like a light switch, and it was like, whoa,
Wow.
we're, like, holy shit, I didn't ask for this. And so now they're making noise.
While acknowledging the difficult adjustment, Wallace has made peace with his changed relationship with some fans. That's okay because it's sports. I love going to college football games, Tennessee and college basketball games. I'm not a person that boos other teams because I'm kind of in the sports world myself, and it just kind of seems childish. But fans do what they want, so booing is a part of sports in general.
That's okay, because it's sports. And I'm a big, I love going to college football games, Tennessee, and college basketball games, and I'm not a person that boos other teams because I'm kind of in the sports world myself, and it just kind of seems childish, but fans do what they want. So booing is a part of sports in general.
He even shared wisdom he's received about fan reactions. I've always been told when they stop making noise, it's worse. Despite moving forward, Wallace noted the incident continues to follow him.
See my Twitter mentions? Like, Bubba finished third. What was their news? It's wild that is still going about it.
An important contextual factor in the noose incident was NASCAR's ban on Confederate flags at all events, announced just 2 weeks earlier. Wallace had been instrumental in pushing for this policy change. In his recent interview, Wallace stood firmly by the decision. He stated, "We all came together as one in unison, and I think that's all you can ask for in the sport. I can honestly say the sport has been way better without it."
I think we all came together and, as one, as in unison, and I think that's all you could ask for in sports. But for the ones that necessarily didn't want it banned, they've never come forward or shown their displeasure. So I can honestly say the sports has been way better without it.
The flag ban likely contributed to the fan backlash Wallace experienced. Some of that criticism was due to him successfully convincing NASCAR to ban Confederate flags from its venues. Fans who were not okay with the flag's removal also paraded the flag outside the track that weekend at Talladega, highlighting the tensions surrounding both the flag ban and the subsequent noose incident. Despite the controversy, Wallace maintains the ban improved NASCAR. "I think we're all human enough. I'm not treated differently. Everybody's been in support and moved on."
I think we're all human enough to, if in out of the driver's world, if you have a problem with it, you just kind of keep it to yourself and move on. And and I'm not treated differently, or I don't speak to said drivers, but I haven't had any instances where the drivers have come at me for removing the Confederate flag. It's been, everybody's been in support of it, and we've moved on. So it is what it is.
Did they ever get to the bottom of the noose thing and find out who did it or no?
Yeah, it was there before we got there, years before we got there, and it's just coincidence that I had that garage.